Welcome to Small Business Saturday.
Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
All right. It is Saturday. Welcome to Small Business Saturdays. My name's Aaron Montgomery, as you can see on the bottom over there of the screen. So looking forward to having a great conversation today. I've got Todd Downing going to be joining me here in just a moment. He's hanging out, waiting patiently for me. And we actually just had a super conversation for like the last 5 minutes. Probably was the best part of the show. So you guys, no, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about most of those things that we talked about here today. But I wanted to have Todd on the show, and I got really excited about it. In fact, I thought it was last weekend, and he's like, "Hey, are you sure?" And I'm like, "Oh crap, I missed it." But I get really excited about this because I think that this is a really great opportunity to talk to somebody that's doing it, living it, being it, but also, then doing more and growing a lot of other parts of his business. And I've always admired watching Todd from a distance here and the amount of hustle that he puts into his business between him and Corey and what they do there. And it's been really cool to kind of just see them continue to grow. I still owe him a trip to his shop once he's ready for me. And we're going to do like a live event from Fat Dad Custom there and in his hometown and whatnot. So anyhow, really excited about talking to Todd today because I think this is going to be a really good subject for a lot of small businesses out there. Just, here's how to do it. Maybe here's a few mistakes that we've made along the way, but here's how to do it. Here's how to get from point A to point B. I've had a lot of folks ask me, "Hey, how do I get my business up off the ground? I've got a full-time job or, it's just not quite there yet. And I don't have enough to hire people. So how much time do I need to spend on this and this and this?" And it's, it's not easy. And, so having somebody that's lived it and doing it, done it, all those things, I think this is going to be really great. So I'm excited to do that. Before we get started, got a couple of people are already checking in. So Paul, thank you for joining us today, this afternoon. And Cheryl, welcome. Thank you for joining as well. And Julia, it's been a little while since I've had a chance to say hello to you, Julia. So thank you for joining us this afternoon. And I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's feedback. You guys need to be part of this conversation too. I'm really excited to hear what questions you have for Todd and Terry Saunders checking in from CMO. Terry, welcome. Happy Saturday to you. Thanks for the really nice note the other day we exchanged on Facebook there. So yeah, this is going to be great, but I want you guys to participate. I want you guys to interact. I want you guys to ask questions. We've got some things that we want to talk about, but really I want to know what you guys have. So I've been able to steal Todd away from his business here for hopefully 20, 30 minutes at least. And knowing Todd, he'll go as long as we need to. And because he's that kind of a giving guy. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and get Todd in here and let's start this conversation. But like I said, when you guys have questions, just throw them out there and we'll get to them. So hit the right button there and Todd should be with me in 3, 2, 1. Todd, welcome to the show.
What's going on there, Aaron?
Oh man, good stuff. Saturday afternoon. I know you're hustling. You talked to me before we got started that you were had customers walking in. So what's the big buy today? What are people looking for?
Today, bucket hats. It seems like bucket hats have been picking back up again.
Yeah,
it's probably the fourth different time we've had to quote bucket hats. So I think that's the trend for right now is stick with bucket hats.
yeah, for sure. I can't remember. There was one other time we were talking on Saturday, and you had to run because somebody came in to buy a bucket hat too. So sounds like those are going well. Cool. So. Well, Todd, as I mentioned kind of a little bit in the intro there, the hustle is kind of a big part of being a small business owner. And like I said, I think you epitomize what that looks like and doing a good job of that. You talk to a lot of small businesses. I talk to a lot of small businesses. They're wearing a lot of hats, just like you are. You've got that hat on right now. You're probably going to go do some design work later. You're going to, all the different things, social media, running different things, all that stuff. So the big question I want to answer today is, and maybe we can dissect it out from there, but what's the best piece of advice that you give people about what they need to do to grow their businesses and still have a little bit of a life and a family and possibly even another job. Some people, this is just their side gig for right now. So what's that one piece of advice that always stands out to you that you love to tell people?
Make a list of what needs to get done, prioritize that list, know how long something's going to take you. If you're doing sublimation, it's going to be a minute press on something. You've got 100 of them to do the math. That's 100 minutes just in press time.
Yeah.
So, that's, I think it was one of the things that I fell back on in the early days was just, I can bang this out real quick, not realizing what the design looked like, not realizing how many they actually needed, if stuff was in stock. I can, plenty of times I've done that where I've quoted the job and like, I can order it, and you go and look and it's out of stock. If you've been in this anytime, here in the next month or so, you're going to be out of safety orange shirts. So order them now so you have them, because it happens every fall. So it's just, making that plan for it.
Nice. So for those of us that might not know about safety orange shirts, what's the driving factor in safety orange shirts coming up here?
Hunting.
Okay. Hunting season. All right. Good. So stock up now and because they're going to be out when it's time. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so
I just ran into that this week with Safety Green. Safety Green was out at quite a few different places in different sizes, and I think it's because we're still running that construction time. So it was like, I can totally get that. They'll have them, and I just split the order because now the same warehouse had everything I needed.
Wow. Okay. All right. So that planning ahead. So you're making a list. You're understanding the time. I think that's a really good point. I'd like to kind of talk a little bit more about that. But I think most of the people that get into having their own small business are people like you and I. And one of the things that I've always struggled with is I'm what you would call a time optimist. So if, like you said, I think I could just bang that out. It's like, you know what, I'll write that thing, in 5 minutes, or I'll, get this little project done in 5 minutes. And then 20 minutes later, my wife's trying to get me out the door and it's not happening. So what, within making that list, what are some of the things that kind of give you a little bit more of an edge? Like I said, with the sublimation, you time that out and you kind of gave it some thought, but what else kind of do you do there to make that stuff happen?
I try and break things down.
Okay.
Yeah, we try and get it. So, in the morning here, I'm going to check emails first. Then I'm going to, here at the mall, we don't open until 10. So I know from 7 to 10 that I can get as much stuff done without getting interrupted as possible. So that's why I try and do any of my emails, any of my contacts, any of my ordering then. Because I don't know how many times I've ran into, I know my cutoff time's 12:30, and I'll even set a reminder at 12:15 to order, and I'll have a customer come in, and I'll forget to hit that send button, and at 12:35, I'm short an order.
Yeah.
So it's doing that because I know from 10 to 6 when the doors are open that anything can happen. So I try and be as productive as I can that first part of the day when I know the interruptions aren't going to come in. And then we try and do all my print stuff at the same time, try and do all my vinyl cutting at the same time, try and do all my sublimation at the same time, just so I can keep those rolling through. And as you're doing one thing, you set up for the next thing. It's just a lot of it depends on what your workflow is, what you have on the books, what you have on there, because you try and just space it out so you're good, because you still need time for you. Otherwise, what are you doing this for? Yeah,
exactly. Yep, totally. And that's I think a really good point there, that you got to make sure that you keep sight of what that goal is, and if you're going to just work yourself to death, then I think I'm really just talking to myself right now, but if you're going to work yourself to death, you got to remember what it's for, and it's spending time with the kids, your wife and family, and just having a life for yourself and being able to have control of that. So that's great. So go ahead, Todd. Sorry.
That's a big thing. Up until I didn't go full time with this, and we've been doing it for 12 years now.
Okay.
But I didn't go full time with it until this past fall, and it was because at my day job I was doing 50 hours there a week, and then from there I was coming here, and I was doing another 50 to 60. So I was getting up 4 a.m, being at work, and I was there for my 10 hours a day, and then I was leaving there, and I was coming to the mall, and I was going to be here for another 8 to 12 hours a day. So I was basically going home, eating a meal, sleeping, getting up, and doing it all over again. And it got to a point where it kept getting busier and busier, and I knew coming into Christmas season that there was no way I was going to be able to pull it off. I started seeing my time slow down. I started seeing where I never missed a deadline, but that's because I just worked through it.
Yeah.
But we just saw that there was less and less home time, so a decision had to be made. And now I may work 80 hours a week, but at least it's 80 hours a week for me.
Correct.
Instead of that 50 for somebody else. And we saw, when you can put that time into your business, when you're working on your business instead of in it. Is that how that one goes?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it helps out a lot more. You just start working, you're able to do more things with it, keep more things in the pipeline, plan things out, so you can definitely push things out there.
Yeah. And I think that's a really key point that you make there, that working on your business part. I hear all the time from folks, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to plan for this, or, look at what the future of my business is going to be. I've got to just deal with the stuff today. And it's like, well, the reason you don't have time for that is you didn't plan for it before. So now you're paying for that. So you got to figure out a way to flip that switch and
Right.
get the planning part in first, and then the other part there. So,
well, a lot of what I found where time is it's right here in your phones. That's where, you have a lot of time. If you want to know what you're really doing on your phone, go in there. If you have the iPhone, if you go into your battery and then battery usage, it'll tell you which apps are using the most battery life. So you can see. So I know mine's Facebook, Facebook Messenger, it's Facebook Messenger, email, Amazon. Those are my top 4 ones that were being used. And it was because we do so much business online. But at least then I knew, okay, that's where I'm doing it.
yeah.
Because it was right at the beginning. I noticed that, I was messing around with, here's this game, or here's this news site, or here's this and that, and it was eating up a lot of time. Those 5 or 10 minutes there, that's easy enough time to make a post. You can, that's just staying relevant in front of people. And when if you can find the time to play on your phone, you can find the time to work on your business.
Totally. I love it, man. That's perfect. I love that. I'll write that down. That's a hashtag. I think so. Hashtag material there, Todd. There we go.
I'm still from Pound Sign.
Oh, we're that. Okay. So perfect. So I think that's a really good stuff too. Talking about that, because I actually went through the same thing, and found that, I was spending a lot of time. I actually used to spend a ton of time on Twitter, but it was, just reading and the just stupid stuff. And I realized that, I thought I was using Twitter because it was helping me reach my goals and do those things. But after stepping back from it, working on what I was doing instead of just being in the middle of it all the time, I said, oh, this is getting me nowhere. I'm not making any connections. There's no business coming from this. I'm basically just reading rants of stupid people. And I took it off my phone. I hardly ever go there. And it's been huge. So I got that, 30 minutes a day back and was able to do more stuff. So that's a really good technique there. Go to your phone, figure out what you're working on, figure out what you're doing on it, and then get rid of those apps if they're not beneficial for your business. So good stuff. All right. Sandy even says, took all the games off my phone several years ago. They are such a time waster. There you go. Yeah. What games did you play on your phone, Todd? Any? I can't tell if you're a phone game playing guy or not.
What was that, Corey? Candy Crush. I was a sucker for that. Yeah.
That's a good
I was
one.
such a sucker for it. It did its job. It kept you occupied for those 5 or 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And you're done, and then you're like, oh, you get sucked back into it 5 or 10 minutes at a time. So
totally.
Did its job to me.
Yeah. But honestly, those guys spend a ton of money, spend a lot of time in building those things around that. They want your time. That's what you're paying them with. So it may be free to play, but you're paying them with your time because they're getting your eyeballs on their ads, and that's how they make money. So you have to make a conscious decision to go, you know what? Fun as Candy Crush is, let's do something that's going to be actually valuable for me, my family, my business, and go from there. So, Todd, I'm going to, as usual for me, I love chasing shiny objects around and jumping all over the place. So Chuck had asked a question earlier, and he said, thanks for the answer, but I'd like to dig in just a little bit deeper on that. He said, how did you work around your full-time job? So what I know scheduling seems like it's been a big thing for you, but how did you get from your full-time job to this business, and how did you make that all work?
It was tough. What I started seeing was more of my work time on my breaks in there that I was working on my business. So, most people, especially when you're dealing with other clients, stuff's coming in during the day. Well, if you're working, and now in today's digital age, if you don't get back to somebody within 10 minutes, it's like they forgot about you and they've moved on to the next one. So it's being, as quick as responsive as you can. And so not only was it taken away from my day job, it was also taken away from there. So, you had to find that balance, and there was no balance.
Yeah.
It was, I needed to choose either I'm going to do one or the other, because I can't give 100% to both.
Yeah.
So one was going to suffer over the other one. And I love my day job, and it was great. I loved having that paycheck every week. I loved having that paid vacation.
Yeah.
I think that paid vacation was what I missed the most. Because, it's been quite a few years since not having that. So it was just that, to have that built in there, and that's why, going through with this and building a new business plan on the new thing that we're starting off. So I'm basing my time off those 240 days. So that way, I can have those 4 weeks off a year between vacation, personal days, or whatever. So
yeah.
it is really tough. You have to make a decision to do it. Nobody's going to come out there and hold your hand and walk you through it and say you have to do it. If you're saying that you don't have the time for it and you can't make the time for it, then you need to decide, okay, is it for me or it's day job for me, and which one am I going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great point. I think Jim Rohn, if you guys haven't heard of him, he was kind of the philosophical self-help guru guy for quite a long time. A lot of the current guys kind of quote back to him, and he said, you can't hire somebody to do your push-ups for you. So, like Todd just said, you can't, you've got to do it. You've got to make the choice. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So, good stuff there. So, Todd, let's talk about your scheduling. You mentioned already that, you've got things where okay, this is my block of time from 7 to 10 that I do these things. How hardcore are you about that schedule? I mean, is this like there's never any?
It's just that block, that block of window of this is. Because it's just like anything else. Anything can happen. Anything could come in and change. Anybody could call it a step-up meeting. So you have to be flexible with it. But you also have to know, if you start your day, usually start my day with a list every day. Here's the things that I need to accomplish today. So before I leave, make sure that list is done. Check it a couple times throughout the day. Is this done? Is this done? Because if you hit it hard off the beginning, well, then you have the rest of the day to maybe get those one or two things done. So I think that list, a friend of ours, Renee, she's an organizational guru, and I've been working back and forth with her, and I was like, hey, here's what I was doing. So I went and visited her place and went through her thing, and I was just amazed on how much work she's producing out of the space that she is, because of just how organized she is. So definitely stole some ideas from her, and it changed our workflow and made us more productive. So it was, the job ticket holders were, I don't know why I didn't think I used them every day at my day job for heating and air. That's what we did. Why didn't I use them in my night job? I had them there every day. I was filling them out. I was putting them together. I had everything there, but why didn't I use them for here? I never crossed my mind to do it. And when I saw it, I'm like, that's the smartest thing ever.
Nice. Yeah, it is always so interesting. And like you said, a lot of times those things are just right in front of you. And because you get so close to it, it's hard to, so you've got to do the things like you do. You go to somebody like Renee's place and go, what tips can I pick up here? You walk through, just even if it's not even somebody and you're looking for different things, like what can I pick up from this? What can I learn and grow from there? So actually, Renee, you're on blast, because now I'm going to be reaching out to you because I want to bring you to talk about organization. And that's awesome. Thanks, Todd. I'll tell her it's your fault.
She's at a wedding right now. She's at a wedding in Boston right now. So she'll get, when she sees this, she'll be very happy.
Nice. All right, good stuff. All right, cool. All right, well, let me get back on track here, because like I said, we've got a few things that I wanted to talk about. As you guys have questions come in, please feel free. As you can tell, I'll jump in there anytime. So Todd, as I mentioned, from the outside looking in, you're doing a ton of things right and doing a really great job. What are some of the mistakes? What maybe can you kind of share with people that were the mistake that stands out a little bit in your past, that by sharing you can maybe help somebody avoid that mistake?
Well, it was trying to grow too fast, too much. We talked earlier with what we do, sublimation, we do heat transfer vinyl, we do signs, banners, decals, we do it all here. The one thing that we're missing, or two things that we're missing, were embroidery and sand carving. I was thinking that laser etching. I bought a laser 2 years ago, brought it home, tested it. It hasn't moved since. One of these days, that's going to be my retirement project, I think, is to make that work. But I just don't have the time for it. So I thought, sand carving, I've got all the equipment for it. It's not going to cost us too much more to get into it. Let's do that. And it's a noisy mess. And it was one of the worst things that I did, but it's still sitting here if I ever want to use it again. But I just couldn't allocate enough time for it. For already things that were coming in, I was taking away from the things that we were good at. And then I was dropping us down from being good at it to okay at it, and I was okay at this. So
Yeah.
it was, hey, cut the losses on that and go back to what we know. And it's one of those things where you're going to run into that. There's a lot of times where you don't know something until you do it. But
Yeah.
I'd rather try it and fail than say, I wonder what if I would have did that. Maybe that was the tipping thing that switched. And if we would have focused our time on it, that could have been our whole business, because here in the mall, we had a Things Remembered in here, which everybody should remember what
Yep.
Things Remembered was.
Yep.
They moved out. So there was no place for that here. So the personalization side of it, we could kill it on it. It was just, that's all you're going to do, because that's all they did. They did that only, and they did it well, and that was it. So
Yep.
I thought we could capitalize on that. We've done some things with it, and we'll still do big orders, but setting stuff up for the 1 and 2 orders, it's just, the 1 and 2 orders will get you every time.
Yeah.
It's great to do, and they produce you good money, but when you're doing stuff, minimum 50 pieces of that, and then somebody comes in, I need 1 shirt of this. It just takes everything out of you to get back in that 1 shirt mode. But
Yeah.
it's fun to do those every once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, and you've got your niche, what you're good at, and you're focused on what you're good at. And, I two things that I really took from what you just said there. A is that you stayed focused on what you're good at. And right now, not that you couldn't go get really good at the other piece, but there's no reason to right now. So you're staying focused on that. You're not looking at that as like, oh my God, it killed my business, failure, just something that it's not right now for you. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I loved about what you said there was the fact that, and I just totally lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. It was so good, but I got too into the other piece, but, no, I know. The opportunity cost thing that you kind of mentioned, the fact that you were very much more concerned about not taking the opportunity as opposed to potentially failing at it. And again, I'm not saying that it's a failure, but I have seen in my career in this industry for the 20 some odd years that I've been doing this, more often than not, the people that come back to the shows that I've seen over and over in years gone by that are the ones that are, yep, things are good, business is good, growing, doing well. Those are the people that were that kind of a mindset where you take the chance because you'd rather fail than miss the opportunity. And I think that's kind of what makes a good small business owner is somebody that's willing to put themselves out there a little bit and be okay with failing, because failing is just a learning experience.
It is. You have to. I mean, if you're scared, that's good.
Yeah.
If you're scared to do something, that's good. I'd rather go all out, put everything I have in it, and fail at it, knowing that I failed, than just sit back and wonder, what if? Because what if anything?
Yeah.
What if I get hit by a car walking home?
Yeah.
It's like live each day to the fullest. Do everything that you can. Put your best into it, and you're going to have people that are going to try and bring you down on it. But hey, that's just use it to build it up. You gotta take that chance. Everybody was scared of something at one point. Everybody was scared to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Now most people can ride a bike without even thinking. But
Yeah.
what you do, I look at my adult self, and if anybody else does this, look at your adult self and look at all the things you're scared of doing. Go back to yourself when you're between like 3 and 7. You had no fear. I have a 3-year-old, and that kid has no fear at all and will do anything. And now I look at it like, that's what I need. I need to figure out, if I can figure out how to bottle that up and give it to people and be like, here you go. It'd be great, because at that age, you had no worries about anything.
Yeah.
You thought you could do anything. You thought you could be anything, and you just did. Who told you to stop? It was your parents. They
Correct.
put the limitations on what you did.
Correct.
And now, maybe we just let them go and be feral kids and see what happens.
Yeah,
But,
totally. I think there's really something to be said there. That those limiting beliefs we get in, and I can see myself doing it to my 8-year-old daily. It's like, because I sit there and I go, oh, I remember when I was doing the same thing he was doing, and I, hit my head or, fell and did whatever, and it hurt, and I don't want him. I want to protect him. I want to put him in this little bubble, but I know that every time I do that, I'm just basically, like you said, kind of tearing him down from that 3 to 7-year-old no fear to where he's going to have to wonder about everything. And so, yeah, trying to bottle that up and go back to that, I think is great. And having that little bit of this is a little bit scary. I got a little bit of butterflies in here. Talk to any professional athlete or Olympian or something like that. They all tell you before every match, they still have those butterflies. and it just makes them perform better, and it's the same thing with small business owners. When you're kind of got that big pitch you have to make, or you're making a big decision or something like that, you want to have those butterflies, because that's what keeps your mind sharp, and that you're actually thinking about it and trying to make good decisions, not just kind of passively moving on.
I had that before coming on here. I was like, oh, I think I'm going to throw up before I come on. And I'm like, how many times do we talk? And how many times do I do live in my group and everywhere else? It's like, I don't have a problem talking, but it's just that new experience with it. And I'm like, all right, what's going to happen? But it's that great feeling to have.
Totally. And it's what makes you better at it too, I think, in a lot of ways, because I've been doing Two Regular Guys podcast for 7 years now, and still, before like a new guest or something kind of a little bit different or changes, I have that exact same feeling, like I'm going to throw up, but it makes you better.
And it's always fun to go back and look at like your first stuff that you did, and you're like, I really did that, like, I should just delete this and not put it out there. But then, you learn from everything that you do. You're going to get better and better each time. Like it goes back to the bike. You started with your training wheels, and then, you kind of got stable on that. And finally, now you can get on it and not even think about it.
Correct.
Walking is a great example of that. You crawled and you got on your balance, and now you don't even think, you just walk.
Yeah.
So, it's that once you keep doing the same thing repetitive, you get better at it. And before long, you're doing it without even thinking about it.
Perfect. Yeah, cool. All right, we got some great comments coming here. I wanted to share in there here real quick too, Todd, because just nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible, by Aubrey Hepburn. Thank you, Terry. That is a great find there. Eric Campbell, good friend, says if you aren't feeling it, you aren't risking anything. If you don't risk, there's no real gain. So good. We got people on our side, Todd. We know what we're talking about. Yeah, I listen to Batman too. That's a good call. All right, so let's shift gears here just a little bit. So you're pretty active with the folks over at TRW. Matt and his crew over there have a great business, and I know a lot of the customers like yourself and people get involved with what they're doing. You have a super lively Facebook group that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of here lately, with the business planning thing that you're growing and building for your wholesale side of your business, admin of Sublimation and more, lots of stuff going on. So you're constantly giving, and that's, and I would just want to make sure everybody understands what I'm saying there. Constantly giving. I'm not sure I've known a time when I've been involved with Todd that he's not giving back to somebody. So what obviously you're just a giving person, and makes you a great person, but what does that do for your company though? What's the return on investment there, so to speak?
The biggest return is when I see other people succeed, because at the end of it, when I'm gone, it all comes down to legacy, and that's, I'm building this for my kids. Hopefully one of them will take it over, but you're nothing more than, a blip on a page in an encyclopedia of life. So, try and give as much as you can, to other people. And us, we're kind of, we're not small business, we're that micro business. There's more people that want to go that hobby to that business, but just don't know how to do it. So when they go out there and looking for a lot of any knowledge or anything on it, it's more already set to businesses that are already there. People that a lot of stuff, how do you go from $1 million to $5 million?
Yeah.
Well, no, they want to know how to go from $0 to $10,000. They want to know, here's my 10 to 50. Hey, I did $50,000. This is great. And that 100,000, they don't think that's possible. Well, no, everything is possible, but it's just how do they do it? And with the different groups that I'm in, with the Sub and More, when I came in there, I used Amy over there was really a big help to me to just know how to kind of structure yourself. Yeah, here, there's timing that goes with everything, and you just a lot of times you have to be in the right place at the right time. We took that group, we were at 4,000 4 years ago, and I think we're at 40,000 now. So we've got constant people in there that are always just starting off in, sublimation, not sure really where to go with it. I mean, how many times a day can you hear what's the best printer, what's the best paper, what's the best press, what's the time on this, and you're going to get those. And guess what? Before long, those same people are answering those same questions. So it's always great to see, when somebody's knowledge sticks, it's great. And then over there at TRW, if anybody is just starting off, Matt's got over 3,000 videos, and it's basically a business in a box. He will give you everything you need, except your drive. That's it. He's got everything you need to be successful on it, except your drive. Makes it, what is it? I can give you a hammer and nails, but it doesn't make you a carpenter.
Correct.
You have to get out there and do it. And so with that, that's putting on there. And then now on on my side, with our wholesale stuff and our small business, I want to help people grow. I want to help people know that you can do anything. You don't have to do everything in-house. And that was a big part of us when we started subbing things out. I've talked to quite a few screen printers lately that have went ahead and they're getting out of it, and they're just contracting everything out because it's easier for them to work on their business, gives them more time to sell more jobs. And yes, they're not making as much, but they can make more because they have more chances to sell more jobs. So, being in anything like that, there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just, there's always an avenue to make money. There's always a way to do something. It's just find it and find the knowledge behind it. So my biggest thing is, like I said, I like seeing success when people say, hey, I use this and now this, hey, I feel comfortable doing this, thank you. Giving the thank you is always the weirdest thing, when people just say, hey, I want to thank you for this, because it's always those ones that don't interact with you, that listen to you, follow you, do that, but you never hear from, and then out of nowhere they get this. You're like, oh, those are the ones that you're like, that's why I do this.
Yeah, totally. That's great. I love it. I love every bit of that. So Chuck says Matt is full of knowledge, and Todd says going to his seminar in September at ISS Orlando. So good stuff. As you mentioned from Matt, the thing I love about Matt too is that Matt was a high school teacher before he got into all this. And so it just makes him, like, you learn so much from him. Just having a conversation with him, I learn something new every day. And, like I said, I've been in this industry for 20 years. And so it's really cool to get to interact with Matt and all the people that are part of the crew there. What do they call all the folks over at TRW? Do they call it the crew? It is the crew. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, so Todd, we've been, you said that you wanted to go through this business planning thing that I've done, and actually started here on Small Business Saturdays. And as people know, I'm a big business plan proponent. It doesn't have to be named a business plan. I think yours is the Baller Book. Is that what we came up with? Baller Book. I love it. So it's been great. In fact, we're going to finish it up tomorrow night over there, and the last watch party of the segment. And I've really enjoyed interacting with everybody. But what have you learned so far? What's been the biggest takeaway from that whole experience for you so far?
I think the people. I think it's realizing that by one person alone, you kind of get stuck in that, and you're like, you're not held accountable. And we have that as a group. It's allowing people to be like, hey, is this done? Are you on top of it? You're seeing what other people's goals are. You're seeing other things from that. It's also making me accountable as I'm writing stuff down. Yeah, that 64 Caddy is going to be in the driveway and the street. It's going to be there, and this wholesale, and that's the goal for this one. This is going to pay for that. I could go out and get it from here, but no, that's the goal for that. It's just setting the goals for it, being held accountable. I think those are the two biggest things: is goal setting and holding yourself accountable for it, and then seeing everybody else excited. I think before when you did this, you had years that went over 5 weeks. The people that came along with it, but I think they dropped off because they just felt like, Well, we said we're going to do this in 10 days. You're going to be held accountable. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And I think we're seeing a great response from it. Yeah,
totally. And as you mentioned, as you kind of go back and look at some of the stuff that you've done in the past, it is a very cringeworthy event for me to sit through those watch parties sometimes, because I go, man, I should have done it differently. And boy, I was really rambling on there. And, and I even said this, I think last night or whenever, that, a big part of what's happening here is that you've kind of changed the script a little bit. If you listen to what I'm saying in there, it's like, hey, do this. Whatever, just be comfortable, be happy. And you're like, nope, we're doing this in, every other day, and the homework's due, and that accountability is huge. And so finding somebody, if you don't have a Todd, use whatever you have lying around, but find an accountability partner that's going to help you. And I think that's a big thing.
And that goes for anything else. I mean, if you don't pay your cable bill, they're shutting it off. You have to do it. So here's the thing: if you want your business to succeed, work on it. Nobody, because why would anybody come in and I've seen this. You see this a lot in like the renovation shows and that, where the people call in and they give them renovations. They do this, on the building business ones. I love those. Well, they come in, they'll help the business get on track, and then they check back in with them, and half of them went back to their old ways.
Yeah.
Why? You were given the tools of everything to do, and you could have been successful. But now I'm going to blame somebody else for doing this. No, the only person to blame is yourself. If you're not successful in this, I don't care what market you're in, because if you're watching this, you're on the internet, so we're all in each other's market.
Yeah.
I could find out where every one of you live, and I could run ads in your area and promote my business.
Yep.
You know, you can do that. You know, you can get everything down there. So it's just how much do you want to put in it, and how much do you want to get back out of it? If you're fine with being, you know, a crafter or being, you know, just making some money here and there, great. But be successful at it.
Yeah.
Put the time in. You want to grow from it, put the time and then grow at it.
Yeah. You have 100% control over what your outcome is going to be. You know, the tools are all there for you, and doing that. So, in fact, Chuck says accountability and knowing that you're not out there by yourself. So I agree. I think that's the other part that I've loved about the whole community experience. You know, not only is it inspiring, holding yourselves accountable, you know, and all that stuff, but yeah, like you said, sometimes it does get a little isolated. You know, you're kind of going through the grind of the daily business by yourself, and being able to have somebody that is right there in that same boat with you going, yeah, it's okay. It's going to be okay. There will be a tomorrow. You know, maybe that order sucked and it hurt and all that other stuff, but there will be a tomorrow. So that's good stuff there, Todd. Thank you very much for having me be part of that. And it's been a lot of fun. We have to get the picture of your ideal, of your caddy. I need to get let's get the color of the whole thing.
We'll get it for sure and put it together here.
Okay.
And the big thing, you know, with it, like I said, is accountability is, you know, you're going to fail. If you haven't messed up a job yet, if you haven't paid more for a job than you charged for, if you haven't paid out more for a job than what you charged for it, you haven't done anything yet. Because I think we've all done that, you know, where quoted this and you either took too much time, too much materials, you ruined some stuff. You know, sublimation is its, you know, its own crazy animal. And I tell people, you know, when you're first starting off with it, you're going to, whatever product you buy 10 of them, because only one's going to turn out good.
Yeah.
And, you know, nothing's perfect. It's part of the plan. Just go into it knowing you're going to screw it up, you know, when that timer goes off and you pull it off and it's masking or it's ghosting and it's sticking to it, or it's this or it's that. It's just part of it. You know, you just keep at it. You'll be fine.
Very nice. Yeah, totally. I think it's, especially when you talked about sublimation there, I think it is such an interesting, different animal. You know, saw somebody posting something the other day about got my vinyl remover. I'm going to fix these. And unfortunately, I only did a couple. It's like, well, you would have been throwing those away if those were sublimated. So
right. I couldn't tell you how many times that on when we were doing pillowcases where it's double-sided and you can lift it half the pillowcase on the side and the fourth press on it, something ghosted on it. And you just wad it up and throw it away and just like, okay. And how much time did that just waste? So, you know, that's where we talk about billing it all out, because, you know, I think that's a lot of people's biggest thing is they're not billing out their time properly. You know, they're not sure what to charge. I tell everybody, start off, you know, if you're not sure, start off at $1 a minute. If someone's going to take you 5 minutes to press, there's $5 you need to add to it just for that, because you know, when they say they're at home and they don't have any overhead, you're using electricity, you're using ink, you're using paper, you use your internet to be on this, you use your phone, you have all this in there. Set yourself up to be a business. Because I don't know how many people I've seen start from home and then move to a brick and mortar and fail because they didn't have the added cost in there. They didn't think, oh, this is what it really cost me to do business. So you start with that good foundation in there, you'll be fine.
Totally. I love it. All right. Well, I've kept you for a long time here already, past what I told you it would be.
You got me for an hour.
Okay. All right. Well,
an hour.
All right. Well, if you guys have more questions,
we got Corey over here. She's handling in the house. If she actually needs something, but this is her time to shine. It's on you.
All right.
You can do, and that's what you got to do. It's like pushing the kid on the bike. They're either going to fall or they're going to pedal. So
that's good stuff. Kylene, you hear that? I need to take the training wheels off for you. All right. So I do want to talk about, though, before we get out here, and like I said, you guys have questions, keep them coming. I think we've covered a lot of ground. You know, Todd's scheduling things, making sure that you're working on the business. And so we've got a lot of great tips already today. But one of the things that you're working on that you mentioned is this wholesale business. So tell us a little bit more about that. I want to know what that's all about, what service you're offering, and where can people find out more about that?
So we're doing full color printing, whether it's printed HTV transfers, printed HTV patterns, whether we're doing decals, signs, banners, magnets, canvases. You know, if you need printed, we can print it for you. We're giving it to you. And one of the other things, you know, when it comes to pricing is there's going to be people that are cheaper than me. Okay, there's going to be people that are more expensive than me. Okay, you can buy from me or not. But I felt with what I'm going on with helping more people with their business and that, where I'm not going to be a bottom dweller. I'm not going to do that race to the bottom. Here's my overhead, here's my cost. I figured those out there, and here's what we have it on. So printing schedule is usually 2 to 3 business days. We have it back out to you plus shipping. So trying to do quick turnarounds for you.
Wow.
As more things build on here, then we get a little faster with it. But it was one of those things that I sourced out for 10 years. Yeah, 10 years that we sourced it out. And moving into the mall, I knew I was going to need more on-demand things. And as soon as I did it, it just took off. Being able to do in-house transfers, being able to do in-house banners, signs, decals. Especially from us, we do a lot of stuff with sports, and it was a lot of, hey, I need these yard signs. Hey, can we get these decals? So I saw that, and then I saw a need for it where people didn't know where to go. They were going everywhere for different places, and they weren't sure what they were going to get. So one of the things that we did was we put together a decal fundraiser pack where they can go on our website, they can purchase it for $10. Gives them 5 sample decals. It gives them a pretty much a whole booklet on here's how you sell it to the end user. You can take it to the school, show them how they're making money off of it. So it's a pretty decent fundraiser. And then at the end of the day, all they have to do is click a button, send it to me, and then collect money. There's a lot of me looking back on things. I wouldn't mind just subbing everything out and just hit buttons to make money, because besides the stress of waiting for things to get here, the easy part is you're not investing the tens of thousands of dollars in the equipment. You're not dealing if I'm printing something that messes up, it's on me. You don't know. You don't care.
Yeah.
It's not your stuff. That's all it is. It's just on you. Where you don't see that with banners. How many times that you've had a 20-foot banner and something happens the last 6 inches of it, and what do you? Nothing. You've got to print another one.
Yep. Start printing again.
Just start printing again and walk away. But you have those, so allow them to priced well enough where they can make 2 to 6 times off of what they're paying for it.
Wow.
And along the way, help them with some sales with it, help them with what they need and how they can do it. Right now we're going into fall, so perfect time for back to school decals, magnets, banners, football, any of that stuff. Be able to offer that to the schools, the organizations, and they'll be able to sell it and make money. You'll be able to sell it and make money. And I'm selling it to you, so I'm making money. So
perfect.
You get all 3 to make money off of it.
Yeah, it's a win-win-win. That's awesome.
Right.
So I think you just answered it, but let's just make sure we got this one covered. Chuck says, can you do that, but with magnets?
Yep, we can put something together for magnets. We print magnets there, and we've done, what did we do this week? This week was a bunch of, like the commercial ones for sides of cars, because there's no limit on size and quantity, and then a bunch of school magnets and that. So yeah, we can take care of you there for it, and we can build custom packages for you. One of the other things is that we're looking at doing is, I think the big thing is people don't know how to sell. They get scared. They're not sure what to do. So in that catalog, it's pretty much here. You can just hand it to them and just let them read it. It's here you go. Let them read it. Shows them what they need to do. You don't have to do too much with it. But then on the digital side of building out a website, you can use Ecwid. You get 10 items for free. You can build a website for them. You can have them do everything online. They can pay online. They can do everything online. So you're getting rid of all the chasing for checks, which anybody's been around for a while. That were always the best times of when you're going for coaches' shirts and you're needing, 30 kids, and now you're waiting for parents and money and trying to do all that. And it's such a hassle. Now they can just send them the website and everything gets put on there. And if they didn't order, they didn't order. So, we'll help them build out that. And I think we're going to put together a thing where we'll even build it for you. We'll help you walk you through it, and then we'll put it there. And it's one of those where I need to see what the time is going to be, because everything, like I said, every minute is $2 to us. So we've been on this for 46 minutes. So far, Aaron's cost me $92. So,
oh man, I left my checkbook in my other pants.
Right. That's what you start finding with the return. It is, you get to a point where that every dollar that you put out there, you should be getting $2 to $5 back.
Yeah.
And that's where you start looking at when you're investing in things, and when you're marketing on things, and when you're putting stuff on, whether it's on Facebook, TV, new radio, paper, whatever, you're looking to see what that is back and what you're getting. And that's the thing, is just knowing that every investment that you make, that you're getting something back off of it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. Yep, putting yourself out there, knowing that you're getting that return on investment, and I think that's perfect. In fact, that leads me nicely into kind of what does the future hold then with this? What's kind of your outlook on the garment world or decorating world in general, and yeah, what's next here?
Well, I think in the garment world, I think you're going to see a lot more stuff going DTG. I think, in the next 5 years, that is going to be a huge player because, right now you can buy, you can get a good machine for under 20,000. And when we saw at NBM in Milwaukee, who's the Epson one that you can do on whites, it was like $6,000, where you're limited to what you can do it on. But if you have a kiosk at a mall, you can go to a craft fair or a car show and you're able to just do name drops, the logo, and put it in there. You're making $25 a shirt off something that you have 6 in. So you're making 19 all day long off of it. So I think DTG is going to be the way to go. And I think you're going to see a store like us. We've got 8,000 square feet here where you're going to walk in and there's going to be a room of 30, 40 DTGs daisy chained together just printing. And that's all they're going to do because everything is so Amazon where they're expecting everything within 2 days that's what it's going to be. And they're expecting, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
I think gone are the days of having the orders of always over 500 and 1,000 pieces. I think you're going to see a lot more of the under 100 pieces, a lot more of the under 24.
Yeah.
That's where, a lot of stuff, baseball teams, only one. You only have 12, 15 jerseys on there. It's just how to do it. That's why one of the ways that we got one of our local teams here was the screen printer just kind of didn't want to do it because they had 12 teams in the organization. There's 12 different logos on the front. There's the different name or the numbers on the back. It was more time consuming for them to do it. So we were able to pick it up, all HTV, bang it out for them. And at the end of the day, they average $8,000 to $12,000 a year with us because of the other stuff that they buy throughout the year. So it's, you might not make as much in this, but you make it more on the custom stuff for the parents. You just find the ways to do it. So I think DTG, I think we'll have here within the next year, but it's evolving so quick. What I buy today in 6 months might be already outdated. So I need it to stabilize first before I can decide what to do with it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you from experience, I was involved with DTG in 2004. So that those were the Wild West. At least now with the Epsons in the markets and the other manufacturers that just escaped me, Ricoh, Anajet kind of group there. You've got a little bit more stability there, but I mean, they're evolving and learning all the time. I remember when I first saw the Epson hit the market and was checking it out and talking to the people involved, and I'm going, oh my gosh, you guys are Epson and you're still learning about the stuff that we were dealing with back in 2005, 2006. And this is, 2000 and what was that? 10, 11, something like that. I don't know. It's interesting that, like you said, I think it's growing and evolving to that personalized place. And, the fun part is even though we're becoming more of a internet society, obviously here, we're still humans and we still have that need for tactile things, so we've got to have our shirt, we got to have our hat and our logo, that we've got on it and stuff like that. I've got to have my polo shirt with Montco Consulting logos that I'm super stoked to get on Monday.
I was like, when was this going to be there? Monday.
Yeah.
It'll look like it's going to be there.
Yep. That's some service, man, right there. So for those of you who don't know, Todd, I'm a customer as well. So I've done business with Todd, and it was
not only a member, I'm a customer too.
I'm a customer too. Let's not let's cover that part. Okay. All right. Well, anybody? Yeah, I need to become a hat wearer. I've never been a good hat wearer. All right. So Chuck asked, let's throw this up there, and then I'll get you out of here, Todd. Can you set up the fundraising pack with the magnets?
For sure.
Okay.
We can. Something else we did it in the spring, which we'll do again here locally, is for banners. We did it for baseball because the sponsorship banners that a team can do it. We're going to sell it to you at $3 a square foot. You can sell it to the team at $5 to $6 a square foot, and then they can sell it as a sponsor banner for $8 to $10. So they'll be able to collect money, and everybody will be able to collect money along the way. Because especially on football, you have that fence that usually runs down everything.
Yeah.
And what can the school do with that? Nothing. They just usually sit there and they're open. Why not bring it up to them? Hey, you want to make a little extra money? We can do this for you.
Cool. So
it's just there's another revenue stream where you just gotta. It's instead of thinking outside the box, just think like there is no box. Just start looking at other things, and a lot of it is look at other ways that other places are marketing, other things are doing. I'm a big proponent of put as much money as you can into Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Instagram ads now. If you're on a TV budget or if you're on a a newspaper budget, I would take every cent of that out of there and I'd put it right in the other one, because you can target so much better. It's just, you can get, if I want that 45-year-old lady who lives in Tucson who has 2 cats and only one of them is black, I can get to her. You know, you can just get specialized with it. And so you can, if you have a product, especially if you have a good niche product, you can get to those people so much easier than in the broadcast. So I think that's where I see everything going more and more. And that's what we do is, you know, when we need customers, you know, we turn it on, but we try and plan stuff out there. We've looked at it as we haven't done a consistent marketing plan in 2 years because we haven't had to, because we project stuff out there and we're always putting stuff out there and staying in front of customers. What was the old thing? You wanted to post 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Well, I think you need to add that times 10. You know, after I was kind of listening to something this morning, it was like, it totally makes sense because, you know, nobody's scrolling back more than a couple swipes on their phone, you know, because they're not in it that far. They're in it for 5 or 10 minutes and they're swiping, they're reading stuff and going. So unless you're not in front of them right at that time, they're not going to see it.
Yeah. Cool. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I love it. More nuggets from Todd. Cool. So Todd, where can people find more out about the wholesale side here? What's
they can find us at fatdadwholesale.com. So we go there, and right now I think there's the 2 decal packs on there, the magnets, printed HTV, and decals are on there. And Monday, actually I'm going to do it. I was said by Monday, but I'm going to have the banner pricing on there tomorrow because that's going to be simple enough to add since it's just the 3 a square foot. So that'll be up there. I'm going to make sure that's on. It's not on my list, but that's going to be a goal to have today. That's going to be on there.
Let's go ahead and put that on the list now, then, Todd.
Yeah, and then we can help you out there with pretty much anything.
Cool.
You know, because we've got a couple local printers here that we work with, and that's the other thing. You know, when people get so they get so worried about competition that's with them. And here I've got 3 different local places that we all do the same thing, and I work with them. I do a lot of their banners and decals because they don't do that aspect of it. The other guy has wide format printer and 60 by 60 press, so he takes care of the oversized stuff. The other one specializes on trophies, so it's what can we all do to help each other out, because here I can offer to you at a discounted rate, you can sell it, and it works. So competition doesn't scare me at all. I think it builds you stronger, and if you get in good with them, you're going to work together with each other. And I'm talking about the good competition, not the one on Facebook Marketplace that's selling a shirt at $6 because they think that they have $3 in it. They'll work with that person. Yeah. The one that you see on there selling at $20, those are the ones that you want to work with.
Cool. Man, great advice. Cool. Anything else that I feel like I could just sit back and we'll have all the keys to the castle here, but I should probably let
5 more minutes. So,
all right, everybody, we've got Todd for 5 more minutes here. What else? Chuck says
we talk about anything you want. Aaron, I don't know if anybody's ever asked you, what's your plan? What's your outlook? What are you seeing? What do you want to go?
So, thank you for asking me that. That's really cool. I appreciate that. So my outlook is I think very similar as far as the decorating world to what you just shared. I mean, I think we're going to continue to evolve in this whole personalization world, and it's you had said it's going to be more like 100 pieces. I really think that we are not terribly far away from it being one piece for everybody. And in fact, I still am pretty confident in the fact that within the next, I'll say 10 years, because I think that's probably a reasonable time. But I think in 10 years, we will take a picture of ourselves on our phone, and I will not buy a large T-shirt or extra large or double X, whatever. But I think I will buy an Aaron-sized T-shirt that will be made custom for me before I even think about it. And I'm going to design it, and it's going to be the colors that I want and everything else like that. So I think that's where we're going. I think we're going to like ultra personalization to a point where, things are actually not just, you're not just buying a blank garment and decorating on it. You're actually making it from the ground up, basically in those. So I don't know. We'll see. I think, the one pass technology in the printing is coming along, 3D printing is coming along, all that kind of stuff. So I think the market will be pretty interesting. For me personally, my goal is just to help as many people get beyond that breaking point of do I want to have a business, or I'm going to quit my day job or whatever, and just kind of give them the guardrails for success for doing this, whether it's in this industry or other industries, but just giving them some of the things that I've learned and seen along the way, along with some success principles just for life in general. That's kind of my passion for life. So there you go. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I totally see that. I think one of the biggest things that people need to realize too is they need to invest in themselves. And not that one of the hardest things for me to do was to actually spend money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Was to spend money on coaching, spend money on classes, spend money on ad buildings. And it was tough because it's like, is that money there? But when you start doing that, and you start realizing the doors that open, the things that you learn. Like I said, if for every dollar you invest in, you're going to get 2 to 5 back easily. And that's one thing that it was tough for me to get past. And I had, it was somebody, there was a class that I went to, it was like $400 or $500. And at that time I was like, I don't know if I should spend it on it or not. And listen to somebody else, they said, I scraped together every dime I had to it. And I made 10 times that back in the first month of just by putting what I learned in there. And it's like, you start seeing some of those testimonials, you're like, whatever, because never says anything bad. So when you see the ones where it's like, yeah, I learned a little from it, it's like, okay, that might be the one that's more interesting because there's somebody there. But it's always trying about learning, trying to put back into yourself. It really comes down to you and what you want to do. And like I said, at the end of the day, everything falls back on you. If you don't want to do something, you don't. Was that you told me last week? There's no can't. It's will. You won't.
Yeah. There is no can't. That's right. Yep. Yeah. You change that every time you say I can't, change that with I won't, and because that's what's really happening. You're making the decision not to do that, not the other way around. I love that. That's a great one. I'm glad that stuck with you.
I can't hold a snake. I won't hold a snake. I'm not touching anything to do with the snake. Tall building, I can't. I'm not. And that was the thing. Before it wasn't until a couple of years ago. I never was afraid of heights. I remember climbing on the garages and trees as a kid all the time and not having a problem with it. And then I'm not even sure where we were, and it was quite a ways up there, and I started getting weak in the legs, and I'm like, where'd this come from? It's never been that way before. I think it was because I quit doing it for so long, and then I got scared. As a kid, you just did it. So, always know what you're doing. If you don't, you're going to run into that scary moment, and what you do from there is on you. So
yeah, totally cool.
That's what you got.
I love it. So yeah, Melanie just says hi, guys. I wanted to say hi because Melanie's checking in. Terry says, yeah, you have to spend money to make money. I love that. And Connie says, can't has always been a bad word in our house. We'll keep it that way, Connie. That's a great thing to live by. We're trying to instill the same thing in our sons, and it's great. Yeah, Todd, your story about you gotta spend. I've been that same way where it's been tough to. Should I spend the money on that? Kind of be all that stuff. And I'll tell you, I took a really scary leap not too long ago, actually, June 30th. And, so my wife left her career at the VA to start her own small business, which was a big jump for us and scary for her. I'm a consultant, so I don't have that steady paycheck either. It's just like the small business owners out there. I had an opportunity to sign up for a program called Train the Trainers through the Jack Canfield Group. And that was a $4,000 investment. And I made it. So, like I said, let's turn that into 10 times, whatever, it's just, but it was an investment in myself, though. It wasn't an investment into a business or something like that. It was that investment into myself to be able to, fully take on those principles. So I'm excited.
Well, and the big thing with that too is when you spend money, you seem to take it a lot more serious.
Yeah.
When it's the free stuff and it's the free webinars and this and that, you really do, kind of just, you'll go along with it and see it, but there's no commitment to it. You're not out anything but your time for it, which at me $2 a minute. So, but if you're paying for something, you're invested in it. I want to know. I want to get my stuff out of it. When you go to any of the trade shows and that, and there's classes that are there, and the free ones, 90% of the free ones are there. This is what they do. You'll get some knowledge from it, and that's great. But it's usually 10% knowledge and 90% their product. Now, on the paid ones are where you're going to get, the real knowledge on the stuff at it. I think we're doing NBM team that they've released the schedule for that, but NBM, did they release that? there was the roll and wrap class. Now,
Yeah.
not necessarily if I want to get into wrapping, with a few golf carts and that, but
Yeah.
it's more knowledge there, and it's a paid class, and I'm going to pay it because it's something else that I want to learn, and just may never do it, but I want to have the knowledge there. If somebody asks, I could possibly do it, and we'll go from there. But it's always done when you pay for something, you definitely seem to have it there. It's kind of like when you buy that first car, it's $200. You don't care if you run it through the fence. That first time you have a car payment that's $600 a month, you're like, whoa, where am I parking? It's like when you have it, you start taking responsibility for it. So, invest in yourself, take responsibility for your actions, be the best you that you can, and do good things. That's it.
Cool. Well, that seems like the perfect place to close this off at, Todd. I love it. I don't think we can do much better than that. So, high five to you. Thank you so much for your time today. And dude, see, internet said it was time to go.
There you are.
Okay, I'm back.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure what happened there. I was just saying I think that's a perfect place to leave on, and I think we've covered everything we can cover for one day, and I've already stole you 3 minutes past what was allowed for. So I'll let you get back to your day. Make sure to check out fatdadwholesale.com, and I'm anxious to see that grow.
From that website too, you can join our group. Our Facebook group is, I think there's a link at the bottom there which is, our Fat Dad building is business basics. So, if you're starting off and you need some help with it, hey, that's what we're here for. We're putting together a good group of people that are all, like-minded, wanted to help each other succeed. So I think that's a great thing there too, because I want to get back, how's that work? I want to put in more than I get back, or whatever way that's supposed to work out. I want to see everybody succeed. That's what I want.
Correct.
I want everybody to know that they can do this and be the best that they can.
No, I think this is why we get along. We could probably talk for hours and hours and hours, because I think we both have that same mentality. You can't outgive the universe. So just give, and it comes back. So I love it. Love every bit of that. All right, Todd, thank you so much, man. I will talk to you soon, and hopefully we catch up. Yeah, let's do it. I love it. Thanks, Todd. Have a great one.
All right, you too, Aaron. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that was a lot of fun and lots of great information. And man, stoked. Anybody else ready to go run through a wall right now? That excited? Just go do. Like I said, that's what I love about Todd is that he's going to do it, and he's going to push forward, and he's taking full responsibility for his business and how much success he gets out of it. He hasn't said, "Oh, blame the economy, blame this. I don't have the customers. This is that." He's like, "I'm doing it. I'm going to go do what I want to do. I'm setting my vision and going." So love it. Like I said, get in, be part of that group. We're wrapping up that business plan watch party thing tomorrow night, and I've really had a lot of fun doing that, and tons of great interactions with folks, and I'm looking forward to more of that. In fact, I owe you guys some stuff for that sent in your missions. So if you're watching from that group, I promise I will get to that. And good stuff. That'll happen, and then we'll wrap that up. And boy, excited stuff. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna get out of here, and we will call it a day. So we'll talk to you guys next Saturday. Still working out the details on that. It might just be me talking next Saturday. So if there's any topics you guys want to learn about, please let me know, and we'll pick a good time. My son does volleyball in the morning, so it's probably going to continue to be in the afternoons, and it seems to be working out pretty good for us. So all right, guys, have a great Saturday. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.